The Red-Headed Woman. I'm learning to love myself. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. Anonymous. I went into town the other day. Had a couple of errands to run and chores to do. Stopped by the Home Depot and got me some parts to fix my pole barn. And then, of course, I had to stop by the Walmart and do the shopping there that needed to be done, and tote all that stuff home, you know. No trip to town is complete without a stop at the Walmart. Well, sir, by the time I got done with all that running around, it was the middle of the afternoon, and I was beginning to feel a bit peckish. So I hied myself on over to my favorite eating establishment, which shall remain nameless. I ordered my fish sandwich and coffee and nestled down there under the golden arches to enjoy my repast. And as I was a-sitting there, all by myself in the whole restaurant, this pretty red-headed lady come walking in the front door, over to the counter, got her something to eat, and come and sat down at a table 2 away from me. Well, as I mentioned, she was a redhead, and I am inclined towards redheads, both genetically and by preference. My maternal grandmother was 100% fiery red-headed Irish from County Cork. My wife is also a redhead, although in latter years I have come to call her a decided redhead, because she decided to continue being a redhead after Mother Nature decided it ought to be some other color. But I won't get into them deep and murky waters. At any rate, this pretty redhead woman come in and sat down, and I looked at her and nodded and went back to eating my sandwich. Took a little sip of my coffee, and I just couldn't help myself. I kind of cut my eyes to the left and sneaked another peek. She sure was a handsome woman. I would say probably in her mid-30s, but I could tell from the look on her face and her posture that she was plumb upset about something. She caught me a-looking at her. She turns and says to me, "What are you looking at?" And I said, "Begging your pardon, ma'am, a pretty woman. It's just a habit that I have that I can't seem to break." She said, "Well, don't stare at people, it's rude." And I said, "Yes'm." And I put my hand up beside my eye on the side of the table where she was. Kind of like a horse wearing blinders, you know what I mean? And I took another bite of my sandwich, took a little sip of coffee, and I hear her voice. She says, "What are you a-doing?" So I kind of split my fingers apart, just a little, so I could see in betwixt 2 of 'em, and see her face again. And I said, "I'm not looking. I don't want to be rude." She just kind of shook her head, but I could see a little twitch up at the corners of her mouth. I closed my fingers back up, and after a few seconds she says, "Are you always like this?" And I split my fingers apart again and peeked at her and said, "Oh, no, ma'am. Usually it's lots worse." Well, sir, she commenced to giggling. Pretty soon she was chuckling, and finally she was just plain belly laughing, and the tears was running down her face. She picked up a napkin off the table and wiped her eyes, ducked her head and said, "You know what? I really needed that. Thank you so much." And I said, "Yes, ma'am. I could tell that you did."